Over 65 million people were forcibly displaced by the end of 2016, which is about 5 times the population of Illinois. The number of children fleeing from violence also increased by 80% between 2010 and 2015. With 24 people displaced from their homes every minute of every day, Syrians account for over 40% of those in need of resettlement. To our knowledge, most studies on resettlement experiences have been conducted in Australia, Canada, and the Netherlands. However, there is limited research on the process in the United States. This is concerning for 2 reasons. First, we have the most complex immigration laws of any Western country. The American Bar Association, which sets the academic standards of legal education in the United States, suggests that our immigration laws are even more complex than the tax code. And second, a precarious sociopolitical climate has been accompanied by growing anti-refugee sentiment. This is best evidenced by a zero-tolerance policy of restricting citizens from Muslim-majority countries from entering the United States, while also separating children from their parents at the border with Mexico. We interviewed Syrians because the war displaced over half the country. The former United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees even remarked that Syria has become the greatest tragedy of this century. We chose a qualitative approach in order to obtain personal perspectives and narratives of both displacement and resettlement. Our research question, therefore, was, what are the experiences of Syrian refugees across each stage of resettlement? We ended up talking with 12 Syrians, 8 men and 4 women between 20 and 52 years of age about their experiences. Most participants fled Syria around 2013 and lived in another country, sometimes even 2 or 3 countries, before coming to the United States in 2016. Our data analysis generated 11 themes with 34 sub-themes embedded in 3 resettlement stages. However, I will present only a few general findings from each stage as described by participants. While identifying information has been changed, such as participant names and locations or specific events, their underlying experiences remain the same. Participants reported feeling physically safe and economically comfortable or stable before being displaced. They were either employed, often working in a family-owned business, or pursuing their education. Participants also reported extensive social networks. They never anticipated leaving Syria despite pervasive government corruption. This made leaving everything behind that much more challenging and painful. Ahmed, a 52-year-old married man with 5 children who lived in the capital city, hesitantly left Syria after exhausting other options to provide for his family. He came to the United States alone before being joined by his wife and children, several heartbreaking years later. Ahmed explained that you're obligated to start from zero once you leave the country, meaning Syria. As violence escalated, which none of the participants expected would happen, they were forced to flee in search for safety and stability. They experienced not only instability but also uncertainty as a result of being uprooted. This was compounded by additional unexpected transitions, such as making decisions without knowing the consequences. Rifat, a 34-year-old single man who also lived in the capital city with his parents and older brother, was arbitrarily detained by the regime for recording and sharing government-sanctioned violence. It was a crazy mess. I would have taken my family on a boat to Europe had our visa to the United States been denied. Rifat lamented that it would have cost over 150,000 United States dollars to traffic his family. He is currently applying for a reunification, unsure of how long it will take. Participants reported no longer feeling threatened by violence and persecution upon their arrival to the United States. At the same time, they continue to experience instability and uncertainty due to various resettlement challenges. This includes waiting for an asylum decision. Firas, a 32-year-old recently divorced man with 2 children, 1 girl and 1 boy, also lived in the capital city of Syria. He was anxious about the outcome of his asylum application. His anxiety was justified irrespective of the current sociopolitical climate because his children's petitions were rejected 3 times. If they, meaning the United States government, tell me you are not approved, according to Firas, how would I go back to Syria? The findings from our exploratory study support a greater understanding of displacement among marriage and family therapists. A greater understanding of displacement has unfortunately never been more important given the growing sociopolitical instability around the world. We invite you to read our article and learn more about the experiences of Syrian asylum seekers and refugees in the United States.